You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amba TV, the voice of Ambazonia. Stay tuned.
Fellow Ambazonians, dear countrymen, despite the hike in targeted summary execution of our innocent people by Paul Biya's killer squads, I still believe we are now at the twilight of our political daybreak, emptying the combined worth and wealth of a lifetime fortune into the country of our collective dream.
A place we can surely call home.
At last, my people, the wind of total liberation is sweeping through Ambazonia, our priceless inheritance.
The land of our forebears.
A place we can surely call home.
A few years ago, a vicious dictator declared war on our sovereign nation of Ambazonia. It is a war we did not seek nor provoke, but are determined to muster every strength we can harness and continue sending the message to our enemy that we have risen to call home.
We have paid dues for everything. We pay tax for goods we buy. We pay fuel in our cars. We pay hospital bills and the dues for all other sacrifices.
I can give all I have for the one hope that I have.
Because I hate my CID. I'm actually proudly Amazonian.
Let's get it straight. The freedom of Ambazonia will not depend on the free will of her enemies.
Independence will be but days away if we get it right with our CID thing.
My dear comrades, I am appealing to every Ambazonian to register with the CID program.
We have no control over our distorted history, but with our CID, we can set the pace and determine the future of Ambazonia.
Yes, the hope for the future is in our hands. As an Ambazonian, my identity is conclusive. My right is guaranteed. My vote will always count as I pay my CID.
As an Ambazonian, I will shape the future with my CID.
With your CID of just $10 per month, the interim government is contract to fulfill all that you wish to be done.
Let us build the freedom mansion from the little block, which is our CID levy.
There will be food for everyone, hope for every child, justice for every citizen when we pay our CID levy.
Yes, the dream we can realize. With my compulsory independence dues, CID, I have the opportunity to give to the next generation a greater nation, better than we inherited.
Yes, CID program is freedom made easy, freedom made cheap, freedom for Amazonia now.
This is the People's TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless. Bringing the state of the struggle on your fingertips. Unmasking the genocide in Ambazonia. Reporting first-hand untold stories from Africa. Draft ABC Amba TV this Saturday 6th of November 2021. Internationalize the struggle, keep ground zero abreast and win the war. Cash App 240-486-8768. Hashtag $AmbaABC. Zelle, donations at ambazoniafoundation.org. PayPal, support@abcambath.com. Thank you.
It started like a joke and I smiled. From Meme to Momo, we said no violence. Now I know not how to smile, 'cause my loved ones are gone. There is no place to call home. Our homes have been burnt. I am homeless in my homeland. There is no place to call my home. Homeless, homeless, homeless in my homeland. When are we going to have a dialogue? We have buried more than enough. Nothing heals the past like time. When are we going to have a dialogue? We've been marginalized enough. You may fool some people sometime. You cannot fool them all the time. Homeless, homeless. I am homeless in my homeland. Homeless, homeless. I am homeless in my homeland. The difference between people is opportunity. You are not there 'cause you are great. You are there by His grace. Do not treat others like second-class people. If you close your eyes to facts, you learn through mistakes. When are we going to have a dialogue? We have buried more than enough. Nothing heals the past like time. When are we going to have a dialogue? We've been marginalized enough. You may fool some people sometime. You cannot fool them all the time. Homeless, homeless, homeless in my homeland. Homeless, homeless. I am homeless in my homeland. Homeless, homeless. I am homeless in my homeland. Why am I homeless? Homeless, homeless. I am homeless in my homeland. Homeless in my homeland.
Don't you hate it when that happens to you? When it does, you need this and this and this. When it happens to me, I always know where to go. When you've got professionals on your side, your problems don't stand a chance. What are you waiting for? Contact them today and let them take care of your problems.
You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amba TV, the voice of Ambazonia. Stay tuned.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed
A good videographer.
And I kept searching and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list. But I finally did it.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well, look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine. Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend. Problem gone.
Thank you.
Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. It's exactly 8 minutes after 8 a.m. in Ambazonia this Thursday, the 3rd of January of February 2022. And I'm back after a wonderful night we had with the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia with a smiling face, but with I would say, with a huge disappointment. Chairman and elements and renegades from the ghetto continue to make a laughing stock of the people's legislative arm of government. I'm talking about the Restoration Council. This morning, I'm here with Dr. Winnie Lobati, Sec Gen of the Restoration Council, and the Judiciary Council Chairman, Barrister Tim Beheza. They are here to rubbish the purported impeachment of our president by ABS. Yes, I say ABS because we've not received any official document from the Restoration Council. That is what makes legality. You know, there were days I thought that all men in suit really do have some sense. And if you want to do something, then it is right for you to do it rightly. Or just don't do it. After a failed attempt to accuse the president of several things or to impose down the truth of Amazonians an election, we now have individuals regrouping themselves, disgruntled, La Republicans that have infiltrated our struggles, men and women who contribute little or nothing for the struggle, now trying and attempting to do an impeachment. I would say this is death on arrival. But fortunately, we have the right figures on stage today to say it. But before I even transition into the studio to receive the two panelists this morning, I want to ask this question. How did a certain impeachment vote get out of the ghetto into the Restoration Council? Permit me that I say ghetto. Yes, it came from the ghetto. You have the dismissed Secretary of State for Communications and IT and dismissed Vice President Abongwa Harrison in his Zoom meeting with a mixed multitude, fake accounts, men and ghost profiles, men and women who cannot proudly even identify themselves, and a certain, I would say, rogue elements of the Restoration Council to attempt an impeachment. This is after these individuals have ignored the laws of the land. They are trying to legalize illegality. But just a while ago, I received a call from your president, and he is confident and waiting to react with what is necessary. Legally, if any legal document of the accused or from the accusers is presented. So we're waiting for a document from the so-called Restoration Council that has been stopped of every official activities. Now, without any waste of time, I would like to invite right on this platform and now my two guests, Dr. Robati and Barrister Tim. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much
Dr.
for
Robati,
inviting
good
me.
morning. I know it's about 2 a.m. your time, it's 2 a.m. my time, it's about 2 a.m. In fact,
you're not getting me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you very well.
Perfect. Dr. Lobati, can you hear me?
I can
hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good.
After an exceptional evening with the President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, we had the man who abdicated his portfolio and created his TV coming on live to read a certain resolution or vote, purported vote coming from the Restoration Council We do not have any official release as of yet, with the claim, the illusion that his declaration on his TV was an impeachment. Dr. Lobati, I understand you're the Secretary Gen. We already know you're Secretary Gen of the Restoration Council. Talk to us. What happened yesterday?
Thank you, Paddy. Ambazonians, I would say it's a sad day for what we want to hold as an ideal Amazonia we intend to build and structures that we really intend to uphold, but are being used and turned against individuals for whatever reason to keep scores or settle scores and to really get into places where people want to just do what they want to do and get by either by bullying or by purportedly bringing charges or allegations, and allegations become convictions. Why do I say that, Patty? Um, as you have heard, there is impeachment, and the announcement was read by the non official television station of the people of the Federal Republic of Amazonia. And I am still waiting for that result because there was an emergency meeting call. Yes, members have been, constituencies did recall their members, some of their members. Apparently, most of those members did not heed. You would ask, I come from a constituency, my constituency and county and LGA
Dr.
participant of.
Lobati, you're frozen. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Why were you a participant of the emergency meeting? I wrote a disclaimer or a dissociation letter with six other members of the Restoration Council yesterday, and knowing that an emergency meeting was going to be held, and knowing that a 7 out of 30 would not hold a quorum or would not peel off a quorum. So I said, I better go and officially register and record my dissident to what the letter that was sent out over the weekend. Of course, we had shenanigans happen in the house, and in those shenanigans, things were brought back and it was upheld and was re-voted. I don't know, I've seen a lot of shenanigans in this council. I am sorry to say it becomes a laughable and laughing stock on how some of the things play out. The question that brings us here is impeachment. Um, I will say something a little bit, and and then I will not monopolize the time. When impeachments are usually carried by a legislative body in a nation, it's a serious thing that rises up to treason, or one that would really destroy a nation or its institutions. And when impeachments do go through, when impeachments are deliberated, every item of the impeachment has to be voted by, or charge, or reason why everyone has to be voted by the House to include or exclude, and it has to be based on the evidence that you have. And so it will, every item. But what happened at the Restoration Council today? I saw a whole bunch of, or yesterday, I should say, a whole bunch of allegations read by somebody put a motion, somebody out of America read the points of reasons for the impeachment, and somebody in Europe provided on a screenshot a purported, I would say, evidences, no validation, no authentication, and besides that, no floor member was given the option to take those so-called evidences to go back, review them for themselves, and read through them and make their informed decision. Everything was shoved down the throat of the members and hurriedly. And we have to do it now. We have to do it. This house is not respected because we don't do things fast. Yes, that was a kind of impeachment. Even the accused never had an opportunity to defend themselves or for any of the allegations that were placed. And by so doing, we just made the Restoration Council a sham and a house of keeping score or taking scores and all, expressing our anger and our dissatisfaction instead of upholding a process.
Okay, your fellow Amazonians watching in Munya, Moyoka, in Abakwa town, where I was born and raised this morning. You have just listened to the Secretary General of the Restoration Council explaining to you the sham, the charade that took place in our Restoration Council yesterday. I cannot even call it our Restoration Council because the president, after responding to a call, had officially halt their activity or activism before ASSC. Barrister Tim, do you want to react to that narrative you just heard?
Yes, thank you, thank you. I want to react, but let us do first things first. You see, the impeachment was not done today. He had been impeached a week ago. You remember, a week ago, there was a meeting held which claimed to be APP. And let us be reminded, our constitution allows only one legislative arm of the government, of the IG, which is the Restoration Council. But again, what happened? We heard about APP. APP, what does APP stand for? APP is Ambazonian Peace Plan. As conceived in Berlin, it was not intended to be a legislative body. Never. It comprises the chairs of the counties and the LGAs, local government areas. All put together, the LGAs are 61, but they are not yet composed, not yet finished. The counties are 13. So if you put the 13 plus 61, assuming that everything is in order, you're going to have 74. If you add 10 members of the Restoration Council, they will go up to about 84. That's all. But what happened a week ago is that they called something, the APP claimed to call a meeting, which is described as enlarged constituent assembly. Where does enlarged constituent assembly feature in our constitution? Enlarged constituent assembly of who? It was convened by who? By a certain Mr. Abongwa. Who's Abongwa? It's a dismissed or sacked vice president constitutionally. It was coordinated by who? By Mr. Crisano, who has been dismissed as Secretary of Communication. But curious enough, going forward, you see that even right now, they still convene meeting and Mr. Abongwa calls himself vice president. He's vice president to who? Mr. Crisano calls himself Secretary of State. He's Secretary of State to which government? In any case, at that meeting, who was invited? I can read from here. They invited to the enlarged Constituent Assembly, they invited all constituents of all counties and LGAs in diaspora. I don't know who it was, the whole world. They invited civil society. They invited Ground Zero Ambassador Restoration Forces. They invited constituents of all countries and regions. They invited all restoration members, council members. They invited all National Security Council. They invited all activists. And this brought in, according to them, about 500 to 600 participants. The first question is, even as vice president, Mr. Abongwa, even when he was sitting as vice president, cannot convene such a meeting. Cannot legally do it unless authorized by the president. Because by Article 9, the president appoints him to assist him execute his authority. Mr. Abongwa does not sit in the APP meeting by himself. No. The administrative head of the APP structure is the Secretary for Homeland Administration. That's the administrative boss, which fall under the government. Mr. Christian does not sit there. But anyway, this is the comparison of this is the beginning of the impeachment. And in this very meeting that I've just read, they were the Restoration Council members. They were invited there, and they were there. And what did they do? They impeached the president first. And what next? They forward the impeachment. They are now assumed before the impeachment, the Restoration Council with a fixed date. You must do an up and down vote by Thursday. Or before Thursday, that's a week.
Mm-hmm. So they dictated to the Restoration
Yes.
Council.
They had assumed, let me just take for example, we are very familiar with impeachment in the United States. In the United States, there are two houses of Congress. We have the Senate and the House of Representatives. In the US context, the House of Representatives is the one that impeaches the president and then is sent to the Senate for trial. In this case, these people had created a House of Representatives of their own, which they call the Enlarged Constituent Assembly, which does not exist anywhere in our Constitution. And they effectively impeached the president in that thing and sent it then to the Restoration Council. That was part of the impeachment right down here, with instructions to validate it within 7 days. What a sham thing is that? It is totally illegal. It is unconstitutional. It has no legal effect and cannot be respected by any right-thinking person. And I would then challenge any of them. I challenge particularly Dr. Epa. He is a lawyer. I challenge him to a public debate on constitutional law. Anywhere. We're in a public forum. I challenge him. Let him come with his team. And we'll debate this thing anywhere. And if they successfully defeat me, I will accept my defeat. But as of now, I think they're out on a wild chase. They've taken it wrongly. They were told a week ago, or a few days ago, that anything emanating from such a structure is not binding, will not be respected by this IG. Thank you.
You just said Dr. Epa is a lawyer, but he has been
I don't know
like
him. He is a
he
lawyer. I
has
don't know him.
really dishonored the office. So I'm going to come back to you to react to that attitude of the Restoration Council last night. But Dr. Lobati, I'm coming back to you. I want to find out, how did it so happen that the Restoration Council will pick up a purported impeachment from a ghetto, because I call the Clown Conclave a ghetto activity by rascals. You know, rascals, you can put on a suit, but you're a rascal, because once you do not understand law, I don't know if these individuals do understand the law, or they understand the law and they choose not to respect it. We cannot take old men to school who have even denied to learn. How did it get into the Restoration Council? Something from the ghetto.
Patty, let me go back. House has committees And committees are really usually created in the House to help look at different aspects or different things within our government and oversight, not really oversight, or given a task or assignments based on the committee. And once they do their work, they write a recommendation and send it to the let me say secretariat or what, and then when it's tabled for deliberation on an agenda, then every house member, per our terms of reference, if it's regular session, 5 days prior, every house member needs to have the documents associated with those recommendations and review them prior to come into a session so that we'll be ready. With that said, it also allows reps to be in touch with their constituencies so they know where they stand on specific things and how to vote. Has that been done? No. So what has been happening is we have committee people. Of course, they are working on things. So in sessions, we ask them to brief the House where they are and standing and what they have done and how much needs to be done. But they are also reminded, even if you give a report, it is not a report that is considered a vote for um, for the general floor because it hasn't fulfilled that requirement of sending a type recommendation. Honestly, this impeachment had no type recommendation, never delivered to anybody, no evidences brought, only those committee members held it tight. And when they held it tight, they already violated the terms of reference of the Restoration Council. And no, there is no validation. People, and it is so one-sided that everybody, I made a statement during that session. I said, because anybody can get up the street and turn around and accuse you of something does not mean that that allegation is genuine or you are guilty of it. So the question was, you are still in the investigative phase. Why then do you push to go and impeach? Why the impeachment vote took place or whatever, how, as Chris Anu alludes to it and said that I walked out with 3 other members. I don't know if they voted that we will start impeachment process or that we have impeached. Those are two things. Because if they voted that we want to start an impeachment process, then every item of allegations that were put have to be voted in and out based on the evidence to be included in the articles of impeachment. And if that is not done, then it's sham. So what I don't know now, because I left that meeting before they ever took their votes, is did they vote to begin the process of impeachment? That part I cannot answer. So if the vote was we impeach, and this is the final, that is different. But if their vote was let us start the articles of, let us start the process, that will be within how the process goes. But however, we have so much shaking at this moment, so much confusion is at the throat of the executive because of others that are injecting and infecting our interim government. I will not put this out and say this is only of us. I think the La République has its signature on all of this. And if we are stupid, we will fall flat and not even realize that we were dragged by La République using us to get to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, actually, it's a waste of time. I think one of the purpose of this meeting is first and foremost to have our people educated and not worried, because it's null and void. You just mentioned you don't know what was voted because you left, but I want to say ABS impeached because we don't have any official document. We're waiting for the official document, the accusations and accusers evidences, so that the legal procedure can actually begin. We will not allow clandestine activism to lord it over our nation. Now, this is something Dr. Barrister T. Behesa, they're saying Mr. Arnold read yesterday, one of his reasons, or one of the reasons for the impeachment, is because of the AFCON that did not take place. So they're blaming it on Dr. Sacco. And county chairs are blaming Mr. Arnold for extorting 135,000 US dollars to buy tools, farm tools that were required to stop AFCON. You may want to comment on that. But first and foremost, I'd like you to tell Amazonians, how do you think, based on our laws, what equates impeachment, and how do you think such a process should be carried on?
I don't want to give you what I think. I want to give you what are the facts. What is actually supposed to be done. Let us take back to our kangaroo Cameroon. At least they have a Senate and a parliament. Can you imagine a situation in Cameroon where a senator will go down to the 180 members of parliament, instructing them how to write something that will send to the Senate? Is that possible? Is that legal? It's not true. What were the 13 or how many members of the Resolution Council doing in this self-styled National Assembly? What were they doing there? Some of them were instructing the Christian and the rest on how to write the impeachment procedure, the impeachment article, whatever they call it. And then the very people will go and sit up there in the so-called Resolution Council and vote. Don't you see something wrong with that? Then, let me address something Madam raised. In our interim constitution, as far as the Resolution Council is concerned, the terms of reference is only mentioned. There's nothing in the constitution as terms of reference. It's only mentioned, I think, Article 14 and 15, as regards the Restoration Council. And what does it mean to them? They simply told them in that constitution, you have been given an assignment. Make your terms of reference how you have to carry out this assignment. And one of which, for example, is if they were to vet somebody, if nomination is sent to them to vet, you don't expect the 120 or 80 Restoration Council members to sit down and vet. No. Those assigned to a small group who will do it and bring it to the House. That is what a term of reference means. If in making those terms of references, you violate the Constitution, the term of reference becomes illegal. It becomes unconstitutional by itself. It was just to help them manage their job, which was already defined there. You are going to do this, you are going to do this in Article 14 and 15. And so, it is absolutely inconceivable that people, adults, mature people will behave the way they behave. Was it a mistake? No. It was so well calculated. That's the reason behind we'll give you 7 days to act, or you will see us. And you remember, if I'm not forgotten, Mr. Christian told us publicly that he has the last word. He has his last word. What is the last word in this quarrel? No longer dismissing Aringwa, no longer doing this, the last word on the revolution. Who was he? He was just a cabinet member. And today, forget about his private radio station, whatever you call it, the TV. Now, he's the main chief of coordinator of this illegal assembly called Constituent Assembly. Constituent of what? And let me remind you something. If you still remember, those of us who can still remember it, APNC started in that way. The people of APNC created their own constitution, and they made something they call expanded delegates, which included prisoners of conscience, ABC for women, or whatever thing, to come and sit down and impeach Sako. And they came and sat down and, in fact, impeached and removed Sako.
Yep.
That was more than 2 years ago. Sako is still there. So this thing is dead on arrival. It's going nowhere. As Paul Biya said,
It's a
the
waste of
caterpillar will
energy.
move it for the caterpillar will move it for that place. A legal caterpillar, not a physical one.
Not an irrational, illiterate approach. I'm really trying to use some hard words because this is quite disgraceful to see that men who are claiming to have some level of education despise protocols and processes. Even the three dimension of theory and thinking was not employed. I'm talking about basics. I'm talking about basics in laws and protocols. Now, you just mentioned APNC. Let me just I gave this last night. I want to give it again. When our leaders were kidnapped in Nigeria, few weeks later, you had the rebooters. Their objective was to topple over the government or administration of Dr. Sako. They failed. Then came the APNCs. Even before APNC, you had Dr. Fontemniba with his own scam activity, and he failed. Then we've migrated and migrated. President Sisiko failed. And now you are having, this is quite laughable. Let me make progress. Dr. Winnie, please. I want to find out something from you. You have been a very instrumental figure at the Restoration Council. Looking into the eyes of the people today, seeing how those that I'm not sure if you'll be proud to call colleagues have despised the laws of our land. Can you be proud of the Restoration Council?
Paddy, let me read something I wrote on the Restoration Forum this evening or yesterday evening. I said if justice depended on the Restoration Council, then nobody will ever get one. Wow, this house acted worse than La République du Cameroun. La République du Cameroun presented a charade of charges against our people in jail, then acted like the high priest and passed judgment in the night without evidence. Pilate was better because Jesus stood before him and chose not to answer since that was his destiny. Judgment was passed today by the Restoration Council, I imply, engineered by external forces without a shred of evidence officially presented for the rest of the House members to review. No witness to be cross-examined, not even the accused had a chance. If this is the Ambazonia we are striving for, then we are in deep trouble. May God have mercy for what Ambazonians are looking forward to with this so-called enlightened, I don't want to say enlightened so-called diasporans who think they are enlightened. Even La République would not have done what was done today. Granted, they will never even impeach their president for whatever reason, but even they had to play the game of going through a charade of court system before they even pass judgment on our people in jail. However, the Restoration Council missed the mark by a million miles. They could not even do anything. Yes, people have things on their laptops, whatever evidence. If you don't present it to be cross-examined, things have to be admissible and dismissed, even in a court of law. The judge will accept or deny. I'm glad I'm not a lawyer by profession, but I think I practice law in my profession and with some of those, and also being in the Restoration Council, you have to read to be able to be um, well informed. And of course, I've been a juror on cases that were presented in the court. But this one by no means resembled anything that gave any chance. It was just a rubber stamp, as usual, as La République does its style, and worse than that, because it was a rubber stamp impeachment.
It's indeed, it was a rubber stamp impeachment. You have said something which I want to highlight again. Mr. Aaron leaves cabinet about 3 months ago with a pretext that the president would have a, a cabinet member for him to return, because according to him, this cabinet member is his trouble, and maybe the trouble why we're not making progress. Few days later on, he denied that it wasn't this individual when his rhetoric packed up with falsehood could not sell. Later on, he thought, because the APNCs used the same tool, when they wanted to sell their agenda, they used the word embezzlement. It was easy for them to use the word. And so he brought in the words, and it couldn't sell. He attempted elections. It was unconstitutional. He has tried impeachment, and yet is still another flop. But let's get down to the allegations. Barrister Mbehisa, this man, if he really had the intention to prosecute the case and to make sure that he bends the president down, he has, I think this was his unique chance. They have presented allegations, come with evidences, and they're in a rush. First of all, they came with a case, dictated their process, and then they have no evidence to show, they are now impeaching. As the chairman of the Judiciary Council, have you seen anything that justifies or that can be linked to any of the allegation? And if so be, what is the process before we get to a point of qualifying it to pass a judgment?
Well, I think I earlier said that the whole thing was sham. It is rubbish. But let me get back to what you've asked. If there's anything to learn, I think the first person who luckily is the chairman of the Restoration Council, who luckily lives in Washington, D.C., should have been able to teach his ignorant EPA and the rest, who might be living in some parts of the world that don't exist, that impeachment as a procedure. In the United States, for example, even though it goes to Congress, it goes to Senate, not every senator is prosecuting. They have what they call impeachment managers.
Correct.
They also have their lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
And the defendant comes with his or her lawyers.
Correct.
To argue about anything which is brought against him or her. That's the basic. You cannot try somebody, even if he's caught red-handed, without a lawyer. This one, to the best of my knowledge, the president was not even informed. He's only informed that he's impeached. By who? By the social media. By who? By ABS. By who? By some council
By
members
ABS,
of
by
the
ABS, because we don't have a
by
document
some
from the
council members
Restoration
of the
Council. Go ahead,
Restoration
sir.
Council. Again, I will want us to look back at APNC. People who did not know will not know. The APNC was set up by Sisiko Ayoktabe with the sole goal of removing Sako. I was in the meeting. It's not what I heard. I was in the meeting that he called from his prison cell to tell people to go to the APNC. Any question, I said, no, I'll go to the APNC. No question, I'll go to APNC because he had designed it to have Sako removed. He had designed those who are going to be at the APNC. He had designed those who will be the judges. He had designed the moderators and so on and so forth. And this is exactly what is happening here. What's their aim? I don't know. But the aim is clear. It is destroy, not to destroy the IG alone, but to destroy the person called Sako, which is what I personally don't like. Disagree with me on political arguments, but don't destroy my personality. I will not destroy yours because you have a family to live with. You have children. You have a wife. Or you have a husband. Accusing people, whoever they are, of things they did not do and not giving them the opportunity to explain their own part of the story is by itself a criminal thing. It is wrong ethically, it is wrong morally, it is wrong legally, it is wrong constitutionally. It has never happened anywhere. The only way it happens, which is the proper thing to say here, is a coup d'etat. It's a coup d'etat. But the only mistake they have made is that why do they need to go through all this? Mr. Abongo would have simply said, I've overthrown the president, I'm the vice, I become the president. What coup d'etat all over the world, they would have known that it's a coup d'etat. Nobody will question its legality.
Why do you choose to embarrass yourself?
So that's what should have been done. No more, no less. Because as again I said, if the vice president overthrow the president by coup d'etat, they will not question the legality because a coup has no legality. A coup d'etat is force. They kick you out, you like it or not, they even kill you. Nobody's going to try them for killing you anyway because it's a coup d'etat. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Barrister Tim Beheza. I just want to read something that's coming in from Victoria. Somebody is writing before we make progress. The person says, "Good morning, King. My heart goes for the integrity and honesty of Barrister Tim and our able mother, Dr. Lobati. King, Ambazonians have a president, Dr. Samuel Ikomesako, a well-level-headed man, a man with all put together. Despite in very dark cloud of confusion, blackmailing, disservice, difficulties, dishonesty, our God-ordained leader still stand brave and focus thus host of possibilities to create opportunities for our endless quest for restoration. Our ancestors shall forever stand with you, for you and by you. Focus as usual, Mr. President, our President, your faithful follower for our cause from Ground Zero Victoria." Thank you. I can't call his name. He always has good parables like this one. I come back to you, Dr. Lobati. At this point in time, if you were to be given a counsel to talk to the Restoration Council, there is a letter the president has released. We're going to read it through and examine it. I think this discussion will not extrapolate it too long. The objective is just to encourage our people, to tell them to calm down, do not be moved, do not accept any manipulation. Your government is strong, your president is active, the institution is strong, but it will be reconstituted come ASSC 2. But Dr. Labati, if you are to talk to some of those renegades within the Restoration Council as a word of advice based on your honesty, consistency, and expertise, what will you tell them at this time?
The first thing I would say is any illegality that is upheld or not upheld, that is pushed by the Restoration Council, guess what? It's just trash. Throw it in the trash. Anything that is unconstitutional, throw it in the trash. Anything. And I told them in that meeting that, let me tell you, if all these allegations you put, especially the financial allegations that they listed and placed and put there, I say, if the president is guilty of this, count me. I will be the first to take all this to the court. count me in. I will be the first. However, if you don't have evidence to give us, you hide your evidence and keep it. Let's be frank, even in the court, evidence that are admissible become public records in the court that are used later. And other students and other people will use those evidences and study, or they will even use it to draw precedents for other cases. So what just happened was a charade. It like Barrister Mbesa, who actually attended the expanded APP, just told you that it was cooked there, and all they just needed was to come rubber stamp it, as I say, in the Restoration Council. To me, it is just null and void.
Okay, we understand that it is null and void, not because we say so, but because it is unconstitutional. So
That's
these
right.
are men and women who have despised the Constitution. They realize, okay, if we have to respect the Constitution strict to sense, then we do not have a discussion, we do not have an argument. But they choose to present rogue behaviors, pushing the Constitution aside and dictating to the people. This is tyranny, Barzati.
Well, it's even more than tyranny. I don't know what to describe. It's more than tyranny. But again, I'm always very progressive. If the Restoration Council wants to be a Restoration Council, if they want to be respected, at least from my own personal approach, let them do us one favor, just one favor, as an example of being a good body. Let them investigate how we lost $185,000. The facts are all
Thank
there
you.
clear. Everybody knows it from the horse's own mouth.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
money was not a scam. No, somebody took that
Yeah.
money. Why? Because the main orchestrators of this thing have told us that they knew the people so well that they knew some of their own brothers and sisters from that their scam camp who came and fought for us and died in the battlefield. So they are identifiable. So let the Restoration Council find out how we lost $135,000 in our organization, in a structure that was set up and headed by the Vice President, the Secretary of Defense at the time, and the Secretary of Communication who orchestrated, who brought in the people. These things are identifiable because the facts are there. The Secretary of Communication tells us he knows the people so well to the extent that he knew that two of them came and fought and died somewhere in Momo. These are their brothers or the sisters who were fighting as, what do you call it, as hired men from a foreign country. So we know so much about them, then we can trace them. Can the Restoration Council do us this favor? Just to show that they know how to do the job. Again and again, the Restoration Council has to have some dignity. People in the Restoration Council, whoever are the people there, they have to learn their job. I hear the members of the Restoration Council who have never sat in any meeting. You should know what their assignment is. If you are voted or you are sent in from a local government area or from wherever, you should learn to know what the Restoration Council is supposed to do. You should learn how to do the job and do it well. Let us take it back to Cameroon again. What do you call APP? What do you call LGAs? What do you call counties? LGAs are, in terms of Cameroon, equated to subdivisions or councils. Counties are equated to divisions. Can you imagine a situation in Cameroon where all the subdivisions meet together? I don't know, under one name, under the Ministry of Territorial Administration. They meet together and say we're going to remove, I write a letter to Mr. Man of the Senate. Dismiss Paul Biya. Can that ever happen? Where did you have the constituency as councillors from the 61 council areas or 13 divisions to sit down and recommend to the Senate in Cameroon to remove Paul Biya or even remove a minister? Can they have that? Where did they have this competence of LGAs sitting as a constituent assembly where they themselves constitute a minority? Only 100 of them are there. Then there are 500 other people unknown. Activists. Who's an activist? Anybody can be an activist. They accept style, freelancers. And they include, among others, car. They include non-chop. Well, to what constituency do they belong? That they can impeach a president? They don't only impeach a president, they give the Restoration Council an ultimatum. Act on this, our impeachment, or in their own words, you will see what will happen to you if it comes later on Thursday. Is that not laughable? How stupid can we be? No, it doesn't mean disgraceful, it's just laughable. Because I can laugh out my lungs. I don't know whether the people, I hope they are watching me, where they go back to their bedrooms and think about what they are doing. How do you stupefy yourself like that? And this thing is being done under a vice president, chaired by a vice president. The fact that Mr. Abongwa was the manager of the APP forum, it was just a forum for discussion on behalf of the president. He was the manager for the forum. He was not the owner of APP. He owned the computer on which he put the list of people there. If he didn't know that, let him know that. We're learning a lot. If he didn't know that, let him know that. He does not own APP. He's not even a member of the APP, because to be a member, he must be sitting in one of those LGAs or counties. You fly from the moon, and you still call yourself a vice president? You come and sit there, and then you are presiding over a constituent assembly? As what? Who elected you? So, to make the long story short, look, in government, people resign, people are dismissed for whatever reason. Go and form your own party if it's a party you want to form. Become the head of it. Prosecute your own struggle or your own political agenda. You cannot wear two coats. You cannot be part of the IG and you are prosecuting the same IG. And this is where the problem started. The problem started because the Restoration Council did not even know that they were not supposed to invite Mr. Abongwa. Abongwa, who is the vice president or any other vice president, is appointed by the president to assist him foster his political agenda. Let us just call it political parties. In the United States, what the Democrats, they have a different political agenda. The Republicans, they have a different political agenda for the same America. So if you're a Democrat president, I have a Democrat vice president, that guy is supposed to assist you foster your own agenda on which you were elected or on which you were put to office. So, but they get this guy who goes there, he's saying that, well, what I'm telling you are just suspicions. They are just suspicions. Testify about suspicion? Were you under fire? You testify about facts, not suspicion. You testify about facts, not allegations. If they are just allegations, don't bring them there because you were talking under oath. You can't say, I say, no, it was just an allegation. Not even from you. Something you have heard in the news or on your social media or somewhere from the moon. So if they are not done this...
Barrister Tim,
yes.
I think that there has always been a bias within the Restoration Council. I'm talking because the Secretary is even here. Let me explain. You have Mr. Arnold despises every other protocol within government and forces his way, navigates his way into the Restoration Council. And a few days later on, we realize that he has friends there. Some even come on TV to say that he feels more comfortable with the Restoration Council. Few days later, he's trying to pressurize the Restoration Council to attend to him, not even waiting for the Restoration Council to do their job. So you realize that this man is actually telling what he wants to happen. He brought a case. We do not even have details of what this case is being done or what has been done. And now the Restoration Council, these arbitrators within the Restoration Council, puts a blind eye on 135,000 that has evidence. The receivers of the money, they are not bringing it on the floor. At least this one, there is evidence. The Restoration Council I would not say I feel ashamed because I know of the righteous members. But you have some members, they don't see that this has to go through. And then they ignore it. They give a blind eye, nobody's discussing it. And then they want to talk about things that really do not have credence. Dr. Lobati, I want to ask one last question about the chairman, and then we read the letter of the president to the people, analyze it, and leave this platform now. I think we've rubbished the nonsense on ABS called impeachment enough. The Restoration Council chairman has never despises the president, disrespects him most of the time. He is an absentee government official, not participating during the drafts, not involved. He does what he wants. We don't see him inspiring Amazonians. We understand he does not draft, he does not pay CID. And all of a sudden, he is the mastermind because his signature has been used a couple of times behind this. And the reason why I'm bringing you here because of your moral integrity, in spite of these shortcomings which you're aware of, you have always stood to defend that house. How do you feel when you mirror what you have been saying about Chairman Kometa and then looking at his behavior today? How do you feel?
I don't want to talk about how I feel. I think I'm a person of principle. I've tried to uphold that house, being the Restoration Council and talking about its functions and and it's where they are going out of bounds of where it doesn't concern them. I speak out loudly to against that. And where they need to be, I also speak where they are. Um, in terms of the chairman, whether he pays draft or CID, I don't know. I cannot testify, vouch, or say anything. That is between him and his county and LGA. It's not for me to cross a line of something I do not know, and I will not speak that. And that would be unfair for me to answer, even if I knew he did. It would be unfair for me. That's his private business with the gov, with his let me say civil responsibility. It will not be mine to get into that. I also want to let you know that my goal is not about strong men in whatever capacity. It's about upholding and strengthening our institutions so that they are stronger and we have good foundations for what the legacy we will pass to our kids tomorrow. I am a naturalized American, but I wasn't a born American. And I have come to enjoy the benefits of what was passed over 200 years ago to each generation. And if by any means I can be one little lady who is not in the bushes, who is not running and being chased around by bullets, I can do something that would really give this type of blessings that I have received from my second home to the posterity coming behind, and then I would have accomplished something worth doing and that I will be proud of.
Master Team, please.
Well, if I have anything to fault our own comrade, brother Kometa, it is what I've already said. You see, we are not saying that they cannot impeach a president. And we are starting a democracy where we have to learn from those people who started this thing before us. Mr. Kometa already said lives in Washington, D.C. He's been here long enough to see the impeachment of Bill Clinton, to see the impeachment twice of Mr. Donald Trump. All what he needed to do was to tell them that is not how impeachment works. If you want impeachment, fine, but this is a procedure. This is a procedure. And let them follow the right procedure and impeach whoever they want. That would be fine by me. But you don't create a situation for yourself, go to implement it. Again, can Mr. Epa explain to us why he was doing this enlarged constituent assembly?
He was there with others.
Letting people how to write an impeachment and to send it to him in his governmental affair, whatever thing they call it there down over there, for him to preside over there and impeach the person he had recommended in the court below. Is that not so controversial? What sense does it make? Who will listen to that? Even in Cameroon, at least you cannot be in the court of first instance and the court of appeal at the same time.
You see, I would say that Dr. Epa is trying to transfer the CPDM attitude, because we understand he went into the Cameroons not long ago to be voted in as a representative from his division, from CPDM. So you see here, his mind has not been totally transformed. And we wonder if Dr. Epa is actually for this struggle, or he has not been positioned by Yaoundé to do what he is doing. Because his doctor, his lawyer, all of that put together, and his action does not complete. So it's just a flop. Let us read the presidential
Let me say
executive
something.
order.
Hey,
Yes, go ahead.
just a minute. I would want to say Dr. Epa is not a lawyer by profession. He is an educator and an administrator by profession. And
that adds
concerning
up to one thing. It's a disgrace.
no, I wanted to say that because I will not sit here and hear you say something wrong that is not the right thing, and I let it go. Like I said, I'm a
Perfect.
person of principle. So let's correct that. Thank you.
Okay, Barrister
Now,
Beheza
let me
was
just
the
add
one
something
telling
there.
me he's the
Let me just
lawyer.
add something there. Let me just
Go
add
ahead.
something there. Even if Mr. Epa succeeded in going to Parliament in Cameroon or to whatever thing, whether Senate or what, I'm not sure that he will succeed, because what they are doing here does not even obtain in Kangaroo, Cameroon. He probably will be dismissed from there. Because what is happening now, you cannot even do it in Cameroon like that. At least there's some morality behind at least our both parliamentarians and senators. So he wouldn't be, unless he refuses to learn, and I wish he learns. I'm not insulting him. He has to learn what he doesn't know. One of the most stupid things we do is that we refuse to learn what we don't know. I will claim to know what we don't know. If we are prepared to learn what we don't know, by admitting that I don't know this thing, you learn it, you improve yourself. There's no disgrace in admitting that you don't know something. It is an honor for you to say, I don't know that. Refresh me,
And
tell
then
me.
you go to the top learning.
And then you learn more. That's how the world is.
Dr. Robati, were you wanting to say something?
Yes, Patty, one thing I have seen this call expanded APP, the one thing I have seen that they have done, and if nobody can put it, is they have successfully turned the institutions of government, of the IG, against each other. That is what they have successfully done. And if we are blinded to that, we will fall in this trap again. And whether it's with the help of La Republique, or it's by themselves, or people's egos and greed and whatever it may be, or trying to settle scores, they have succeeded to have these two institutions exploiting the weaknesses of maybe the heads of those institutions for us to butt head against each institution. It's a sad thing. They're doing worse than La Republique could have ever done for us.
Someone says is that those are the placards of La Republique. Well, the signs and symptoms can also attest to that. But this is something I get out of it. I wouldn't really say they have succeeded. They have succeeded to dissuade those who do not understand how institutions work or who are not really stakeholders of the struggle per se. Because you realize in that gathering about a week ago, they were unable to raise even 2,000 or 3,000 US dollars. And then the president called a meeting and you had close to 30,000 US dollars raised on one day. And the president, I just want to remind all of you Amazonians watching now live that tonight at 8 p.m. Amba time, we will be having a town hall with the president. Boya Oyaunde, our moment of truth. That's how the president chooses to caption our rendezvous for tonight. And we're going to be mobilizing resources for Ground Zero. This is not a rendezvous of talkers. This is a rendezvous of doers, men and women who are coming together to put their substance to effectuate the war. I also hear they are claiming accounts of the treasury to be frozen. You cannot freeze accounts that your monies are not there, and you do not even have the authority. The president, the presidency, and the government will continue to carry on their activity. So whatever you're trying to do is a waste of time. I was talking to Resource Mobilization last night, and Resource Mobilization is planning to start mobilizing resources as we speak today. So you just go raise your own money and carry your own activity. I guess by now you can be given a name and a leader for your group. But let us examine this executive order our president sent out last night. I'm going to read it, and so I'm sure you must have read it, but then I want to read it for those viewing in Ground Zero to listen to it as we give a brief analysis before we can go. I can see Dr. Lobati yawning. I'm sorry you're having a meeting tomorrow, but you choose. This is to show how patriotic you are. Barrister team is always the Iron Man, always available, always ready to stand for nation. So presidential executive order suspending all restoration council meetings for official purposes. Considering the constitutional obligations of the president to the people of Ambazonia stipulated in the interim constitution of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Considering Article 9, subsection 1b of the interim constitution, which states that the president shall uphold, defend, and ensure respect and enforcement of this interim constitution as the supreme law of the land and the overriding instrument for the governance of the Federal Republic of Amazonia. Considering Article 9, subsection 3a, which states that in the discharge of executive functions, the president shall be accountable to the people of Amazonia, considering the resolution adopted on the 30th January 2022 by the Constituent Assembly of all county LGA executives and officials of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, press release to the Amazonian press, considering that members of the Restoration Council representing all 13 counties and their LGAs have been recalled as agreed in the Constituent Assembly and stipulated by the adopted resolution cited above, orders follows. Considering Article 15, Section 7, subsection 8 of the interim constitution, bordering on how decisions should be arrived at the Restoration Council and quorum needed, the President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia hereby orders follows. Number one, all official meetings by any LGA representatives and non-LGA representatives of the Restoration Council are hereby proscribed till further notice for lack of quorum as required by the interim constitution and the internal rules and regulations of the standing order of the Restoration Council. any acts, proceedings, decisions, or resolutions that purportedly proceeds from the Restoration Council from the date of signature of this order before the holding of the ASSC Washington and the effective return of record members of the Restoration Council to the House will not be binding on the interim government or the people of Amazonia. Done in Boya this second day of February 2022. Signed, Samuel Ekomesako, PhD, President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia. That is it. I should start this time with the comment, lady before gentlemen. Maybe you want to comment. You've heard it loud and clear. I believe you've heard it.
Let me say something. Remember, I said I did attend a meeting. There are things that I would say it may look out of place, but it is really in place. Let me start first with our terms of reference, which also was passed into law, Barrister Mbesa. If you may want to know, I will tell you what date that was promulgated into law. It's actually really derived also from the Constitution. It was done on the 14th of March in 2018, the terms of reference. Um, the the term and formation details, which says 4.2 says the Restoration Council represents the interests of the people and their needs. Then 4.3 says the Restoration Council draws its mandate from the people on an ongoing basis and the interim constitution that lays the foundation for an open, progressive society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Let alone for me to talk about, I was going to talk about that human rights violation of not giving somebody the chance to be heard in whatever you accuse them of. That's a violation of human rights. Let's drop that. But our as representatives, remember the executive and the legislative are co-equals. But the head of the executive has power over the government, and that's the executor. And the Restoration Council, while we have a chair, but our function is as a council together for what we do. If our mandate is derived from the constituencies or the people we represent, on an ongoing basis, and we are not doing that, we are not connecting with that, then we failed, and therefore we are really not functioning. Then we are there on our own, and it gives the president some leverage after having heard from the LGA chairs and the county chairs that, hey, we are recalling our people. But is that really happening in that recall? I mean, by what happened and the decisions that were made, you say officially there is a recall. But in actuality, have these members really leave and are not going to meetings? Not really. So it makes that they are no longer drawing their mandate from the people, they are drawing their mandate from themselves.
Thank you very much for that. I will make no comment. Yes, Varsity.
Yes, the simple thing I would say is this. Something unconstitutional remains unconstitutional. It's not about the numbers. Even if the quorum were found and they had 100% vote for something which is unconstitutional, it doesn't make it constitutional because they had the 100% vote. I agree, madam. Your terms of reference were signed into law. But all those terms of reference, like any other law, come under scrutiny from time to time. We have seen in civilized countries, even in the United States, after a law has been there for 20 years, it is challenged in another court or somewhere, it is thrown out. Because the makers of the law might have thought that they were right. but they made a mistake somewhere. A judge will throw it out. That law was signed by the president. It passed through Congress. But somebody will say, no, 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 this thing violates human rights here, it violates this and that, and they'll throw it out. So constitutionality is not majority based, it's legal, documentary based, because a written constitution has provisions. And let me add this before we close. The people who are perpetrating all this, and most of us, we don't seem to understand the strength, the magnitude of the enemy we face. Our common enemy, the Republic, is not you and me. It's not even Nigeria. It is not even some of the countries that you know. It's a very complicated country. And if you don't know that the security agency of Cameroon, the state of Cameroon, and the presidency is run by the Israelis. The Israelis are the most intelligent organizations in the world. So you can be infiltrated without knowing that you're infiltrated.
Correct.
Don't expect Paul Biya to send General ABC to come and see you. Somebody will see you here, don't even know that's an agent. You're infiltrated without being infiltrated. If the Israelis could go to Kampala, wherever, and hijack a plane, study there on the tarmac, without the Kampalas know it, without the Ugandans know it, they can do anything. They can do anything. Some of us are infiltrated without knowing that we're infiltrated. Because you didn't see a government minister come to talk to you. No, they are talking to you through the people you don't even suspect.
That's right.
They are talking to you through. Who of us could have believed that Santos, Nick Santos, was a member of the CPD? He sat at the highest level of this government. He sat in the presidency. He was a press secretary. But what was he? He was an agent. Today is a CPDM section president, whatever he calls himself. He goes to those meetings. Did we know it? We didn't know. We were being infiltrated without knowing that we were being infiltrated. So again, legality is not about numbers. Legality is about the law. Something is wrong, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. Let us admit that this is unconstitutional if it is properly founded, and then find a way to get out of it. Yes, the Restoration Council gets its mandate from the people and the Constitution. But the Constitution is the highest law of the land, which binds the people.
Correct.
Otherwise, the people of Ngokutunja will have a different thing. The people of Manyu will have a different thing because their own people eat gare and water. The people of Libya will have a different thing. The overall law is the Constitution. No county, no village, no LGA can give you what the Constitution does not provide for. That's why they call it the supreme law of the land.
Correct.
It is the law of the blind, of the wicked, of the disabled, and of the able people. It has to be respected. If we're not respecting it, we are violating it, which is therefore wrong. If we are violating it before we get even to Boya, how much more are we going to violate before by the time we get there?
Thank you very much, sirs, for this insightful. I'm receiving a message here. I would like to know if I could call. We're not going to receive calls this morning. If you can look at it, Dr. Lobati is seemingly tired. Barrister Tim is presenting so strong. I see somebody trying to console me and to say that, thank you, you just finished with the president. Listen, this to me is the least I can do for my nation at this time. If with this youthful energy, I'm not doing this, what will I tell my kids tomorrow? That I saw my brothers running through the equatorial rainforest, some without sufficient to eat, eating bush mangoes. Some go for days without eating, without the right arm on their hands to fight a well-trained army. Some have been living under trees and under rain for months and years. And then I sit in the diaspora just to sit down and make and to prosecute, internationalize our struggle, educate our people. And I think that's something too big. No, it is not big. If I were to do more, I would do it. Some of you have just been looking at this war on TV. To you, it is more of some cinema. Some of you have not lost family. Some of you are just praying that maybe it ends so you can go ahead. Like the president said, some of you have construction projects you're carrying on, and whether we win it or we lose, you really don't care. But this is not the case until you realize that we will have a question to answer to our progenies in decades to come if we miss this chance of actualizing our independence restored. Until you realize that we will be, if we are conquered in this war, we will become slaves forever. Until you realize that we have lost close to 30,000 people. Until you get to that point that you realize that we have more than 150,000 refugees languishing in Nigeria without sufficient to eat. Until you realize that we cannot translate into the next generation something even worse that we inherited, you will not quantify the effort that you make to sum up to anything that is worth more than the lives that have been lost. At this point, I want to call the Director of Resource Mobilization, Nijo, who is going to be, he wants to encourage us to join the meeting that we're going to be having with the President this evening. Nijo, you're live on ABC Amba TV this morning. I understand you say it is 8 a.m. in the UK, about 8:30 a.m. in the UK. In Amazonia, it is 9:30 a.m. And we are waking up at this time to encourage our people, to tell them to chew it. It is a bubble gum that has lost its taste. The ABS impeachment is a waste of time. Do not give any energy to it and just move on and prepare to meet with our president tonight because there's a lot in store. Do you want to talk to us, sir? We're listening to you.
Greetings and congratulations from the UK. Your absolute spot on time is 8:30 a.m. and this is one of my very first programs I've been following on ABC in the morning. And guess what? You have been on, I think, for about 12, 13, 14 hours now. Jesus. You deserve all the praises from Amazonians. And your panel, thank you very much. I've followed for the last hour and I couldn't praise you enough. But that's all. I come in and support you and remind Amazonians that we need to stop the celebrations that are taking place in Yaoundé, some little quarters in Yaoundé, thinking that the little slip from a few of our misguided comrades is worth celebrating. And the only way to do that, the old folks in the primary school saying, action speaks louder than words. It is time for Ambazonians to send a chilling message, a very clear message to those quarters in Yaoundé celebrating that those few misguided Ambazonians are a few, very, very few, those who don't even contribute to this revolution in terms of money. And that those of us, those of them who are devoted donors are still determined to get to Boya. And this message needs to be very clear. We are coming tonight for the town hall meeting for cash donations that would allow your Secretary of State of Defense, who is new in his position, but an old broom in the house, if you know what I mean, he needs to send a hot, clear message down to Yaoundé, and he needs your support, financial support, cash donations tonight. Please, Ambazonians, not pledges. We are not drafting for Lava 3. We are making cash donations for immediate, swift action on ground zero. I thought I use your platform to make this appeal ahead of the town hall meeting tonight, and of course, an appeal to cabinet members, to all LGA and county executive members to call Department of Resource Mobilization in the background and register their donation so we can just read the list through instead of phoning people to save us some time. You know, you ran last week's town hall meeting. I used to know how many people called it, how long it ran. We don't want this item. It's just one of the items on the agenda. So we would really appeal, and it's such a significant item. We have to do it. We have to launch Lava 3, but we need to do it in a coordinated and time-saving method. So we will need a list of those members of government, those members in the county, the LG executive who want Lava 3 to be part of Lava 3 to make the announcements earlier. So we just read the list and we move on to the next item. This appeal, please, if you can repeat as many times as possible, Comrade Paddy, I know your ability on this to get Ambazonians ready. We will really appreciate that. On behalf of my committee, my Irene, will be there waiting and look forward to hearing from you. Again, I must submit my highest congratulations and support to your able panel this morning. God bless us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to ask you something so you can react to it. I understand that there was some pre-launch to this lava storm, and you have some lofty amounts already in your coffers. Do you want to brief Amazonians on that?
Correct. We had launched this just before the little turmoil erupted in our house. You know what happens is you start a process, and then all of a sudden, when you put a pot on fire, those of us who've been in the villages, your pot is standing on 3 stands, and then all of a sudden one of the stands gives way. You need some little time to get the pot back up and balance. So we launched Lava 3 briefly, and then if you understand me, there was this little storm that disrupted the process. But we are back on. We're going to recall we have over in the first instance we had over $23,000 raised, and so far we have more than 8,000 of that money paid in. But we need this to 3 figures. We need to take this to 3 figures. We all know what it means to have action, significant action on ground zero. So yes, we have about $23,000 in already from the initial launch before this little turmoil came in.
Yeah.
We want to take it to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so as usual, Amazonians could do this, and they're looking to do that tonight. And hopefully we can take this over $100,000 mark, so that by this time, I hear they're planning something, you call it Youth Day celebration. We don't want to hear anything youth celebration in Amazonia. And this is the moment we need to stop that. We need Amazonians to come up. Please come ready for Lava 3. Let them hear us talk. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. I wanted you've used the Queen's language this morning very well in London. Yeah, I would say in Washington is 3:30 a.m. in the morning, and we are enjoying the time with Amazonia. I would like the panelists, starting with the lady, to give a word of encouragement to our people as they listen to you amidst the chaos. Just give a word of encouragement. Let us close the program now.
Thank
Dr.
you,
Labate,
Paddy.
please.
Thank you, Paddy. Fellow Amazonians, I just want to thank every one of you for the sacrifices. Whether you're on ground zero, ground one, ground infinity to diaspora, that we should stay focused. Don't let your minds be robbed or don't let people deceive you to feel that the if you know the story of where the hen that said the sky is falling because a coconut fell off the tree, and they said the sky is falling. The sky is not falling over Amazonia. We're marching on and we're moving up. So Forget about that chicken that is screaming and rolling. The sky is falling, and didn't even turn around to look. We are moving forward. Stay focused. Continue to support each other. Contribute. Help each other. Share with each other what you have. Love each other. Love the country, and be there for each other. And we will try to be there for each other. Just as I said, we are the support of the hands of Moses and Aaron on the and Aaron and supporting Moses, so that Joshua can win that battle against the Amalekites on ground zero.
Thank you very much, Barrister Team.
Yeah, thank you, Ambazonians, those in Ground Zero and elsewhere. What is going on right now is just a bomb on the road. And it happens all the time. It is not the first time. There's no revolution that has ever gone through without several bombs on the road. Consider this as a bomb. We shall overcome.
Amen.
And again, specifically to the fighters who are on Ground Zero, we are doing this because you are there. Because if you are not there, inflicting the pain, you will laugh at us. You are the ones actually fighting the war. You are only afraid of you. If we raise $1 million, $10 million, and we don't have people to fight, the money will go and fight for us. No. I remember not too long ago, Field Marshal the King made an audio and said, look, I'm only a fighter, I'm only a soldier. Politics, I'm out of it. That was the most intelligent thing a soldier could say. Leave politics to us alone. Fight the battles you want to fight. And we'll go. Don't make the mistake. I was in the last meeting of this standing party. I saw people purporting to bring fighters on the ground to come and address that meeting to show they had an allegiance to it. Don't deceive yourself. Keep yourself out of politics. Stay away from it. We shall fight. We shall win. We shall fight. We shall win. And so, my last word is this. It is important for us on Ground Zero and elsewhere to know where we are heading to. Our destination is Boya. And to Boya, we must all reach. To the soldiers again, let me not forget this. I know some of you have received calls from people here. Just be an independent fighter. Be an independent fighter. No. Don't be an independent fighter. If you want Choyaba, go and fight for him. If you want Akwanga, go and fight for him. Because when you become an independent fighter, you become what they call in law a warlord. You are the ones that will be visited by the International Court of Justice. Don't make yourself a warlord. Because when you fight for a group, at the end of the day, if people must go on trial, the leaders, the ICC targets the leaders, not individual soldiers. You'll be scared. But if you become a warlord, you're putting yourself in peril. So these people call you and say, no, just become independent. They are not even saying you should become independent of anybody. They are asking you to become independent of the IG. Because nobody has ever called you or your people and say become independent because it doesn't even exist in a way. So they tell you to leave the IG and pretend to be independent. But that is at your own peril. When you declare yourself independent, you become a warlord. Anything that is committed in that name, you'll be followed as an individual. If you follow the IG, and there must be prosecution of us, they're not coming to you, they'll come and prosecute the leadership who are giving you the orders, not you. So, brothers and sisters, country people, wish you the best. Consider what is going on as a bomb on the way. It has happened to others. We'll live, we'll fight, we'll win. Thank you.
Yes, fellow Ambazonians, thank you very much for tuning into ABC Amba TV this early. And some of you doing that in the United States so late, in Europe so early. Thank you for your encouragement. I've been going through some of your comments, and I would say it's inspiring. Every contribution is worth it. And where are we today? We are just surviving a constitutional crisis that has been created and prosecuted by a Restoration Council chairman, where he would make a declaration that was very unconstitutional. One would expect that after such irrationality of the Restoration Council chairman and the consequences that we are facing, that he would come publicly to tender an apology. But unfortunately, the Restoration Council chairman despises the Amazonian people, ignores them, and goes ahead to purportedly impeach a legal president with trumped up charges, not with any document that can be given credence, but on a de facto television called ABS. The president, I just want to announce to you, is looking forward to their evidences or their evidence documented and notarized so that appropriate action will be taken. Until then, they should shut up and stay quiet. Before I conclude, I want to announce to you one of these days, really very soon, we will be coming up with ABC Amba News Prime Reports and also officially launching the website. We are having sleepless night, a wonderful team, and your Amba Club members are so determined and committed to sponsor the projects so that we can put Amazonia where she deserves to be. We have caught the vision and we are embedded in a vision that Amazonia deserves a place in the world of greatness and excellence. And we will together make sure that that is established. On that note, I want to tell you good morning to those watching in Mankonjulan and those from Momo are not. Somebody wants to help me. Good morning to you. I know maybe you have eaten some corn, you've taken some pap. Those are some of the things we take at Chombo, some beans and popov this morning. Enjoy. I will be doing myself some tea. Have a good morning. So we meet tonight with the president. Come one, come all for the town hall with the president as we hit hard on Lava Storm 3. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Chosen generation, we've been called for to show His excellence. Hey, all I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation, we've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm working in power, I work in miracles, I live a life of favor. Chosen generation, We've been called for to show His excellence. Yeah, all I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I'm
You're watching the People's Television, ABC Amba TV, the voice of Ambazonia. Stay tuned.